Good morning. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Wednesday. And I'm happy to remind that we'll be slowly getting back to a bit more normalcy with classes in person. But don't forget the classes online are still available and options to, options to do either in your living room or here, please call ahead. That's the biggest thing. I hope you are all healthy and well. Let's take a few moments. Let's begin seated. Good. Let's close our eyes and focus on the breath for a few. So I've been talking to my students a lot this week about mudra. So mudra is hand, usually hand. It can be body sometimes too, but it's the energy transference. Like when someone's running into traffic, we go stop, right? So the reason I was explaining it is a student asked me why we put our hands on our heart and our low belly. And we do that to transfer heat and energy to our body here in the present moment. In the Sushumna Nadi, which is the energy line straight through the body. So that's why I cue that. So let's take a moment with hands, mudra placement there, focus on the breath, notice the rise and fall. You can move my phone. Notice the rise and fall of the belly. See if the breath can be lengthened and slowed down a bit. And the more we do this, the more we practice just this little movement here, our body remembers to calm down, as it were, and you can take this hand placement, this stillness into the rest of your day and notice your own sense of calm. So continuing for a few moments longer, I'm going to switch hands. Let's take one big breath together with arms outstretched. Inhale up, exhale down to the heart. Excuse me. Okay, notice what I did there. Sneezed into my arm. Okay, back to our yoga practice. Let's begin with neck circles, dropping chin. Allow the head to be soft, side to side. Maybe Kate, progressively bigger circles here. Making sure to lift your head, lift your chin, open the mouth, release the jaw. Good, and just moving our cervical spine through that 6 points of rotation, right? This is all kind of review and reminder. Spine moves in 6 points, right? Front and back, side, other side, and twisting. Good, so the more we can move our spine in those directions, we lubricate, get things flowing a bit more, and obviously increase range of motion. Let's work down shoulders as we lift up and back, up, back, expanding the chest. Good, take one more, leave your hands behind you, puff the chest out. You can walk your hands closer together for more stretch in the shoulders. Good, good, good. Big breath in, baby step forward fold. Good, good, good. Let's come out with a tight ball tuck. Good. Switching your legs around or a different seated position, perhaps. Just shaking things up a bit. We'll open side body. Reach up and over. And I like to circle the wrist here. Keeping your head neutral, not flopping down or reaching up. Neutral. Big word in yoga, neutral. Perfect. Back to center. Reach up, inhale, over, other side. These side openers, lateral flexion feels so good in the body because we don't take this particular stretch throughout the day. We find we move forward and back and twist behind us to pick something up. That's side stretch. Really appreciate this. Good, upper hand all the way behind you. Big breath across the body. Slow rotation out the back. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Big breath in. Other side. And back to center, shoulder shrugs again. Moving down the body progressively, hands behind you. Lift the chest, maybe the hips. Just a little bit of warming up the low body. Big breath back to center, exhale, forward fold. Good, good. Tight ball tuck. And as we come out of this tuck, let's go into boat pose. So hands come behind the legs for support, showing you on the diagonal. I'm rounded to begin. Inhale, straighten the back, sink back, lift up. V shape, ish. Working abdominal muscles and balance. It's balance pose, breathe. And release. Nice job. So we did a lot of upper body stuff there. Let's work with the legs in straddle. Not everybody's favorite, I know, but it happens to be mine. It just feels good to go bigger with the body. So take a few moments here. I've also got H&R block right here available as a prop. Just realized I gave them free press. Okay, so lifting up tall through the crown of the head. Got my hands on my knees, just like at the beginning. I'm going to begin by circling my ankles. I always like to add ankle rotations. I feel like that's a joint that is not warmed up, not stretched enough. You know what I mean? If you've ever fallen up the stairs, same idea. So let's strengthen the small articulation in that area. Good. I'm also rocking. Can't really see it with the block, but I'm rocking back and forth on my sits bones, lifting up, lubricating hips. Good, and move forward fold. So this is where I like to block. Big breath in. And slowly go forward. Stretching inner thigh, right? Groin. So block has 3 heights. Choose which height and go to your depth. Good. Pause and hold. Hold the pose, not the breath. Good, good, good. Slowly come back up. I'm going to leave the block here, but now we're going to turn towards the knee. Inhale up, exhale, fold. So if you have a strap, you can use that here. And you go where you can go. That's an important point. You may not go as deep as me, or you may go deeper. Irrelevant, it's your practice. Just guiding you forward folding, overextended leg. Good, now here I'm going to turn it into a twist, right? 6 points. Hold my foot. I'm actually going to thread this hand underneath, press it into the knee. You can use a block and open towards the side. Breathe. Love those side openers. Good, good, good. Use that abdominal strength we created in boat to lift up and find some stillness for a moment. Good. Second side. Little bit of a rotation to get the front body facing the leg. Big breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Good, and then once again, turn this into a twist, sliding underneath, or using your strap. Open side body. Having a hair issue here, I'll fix it in a moment. Good. Breathe. And again, engage abdominals to help lift you up. Big breath and hold still. Okay, take a moment, bend your knees. This is going to feel good to bring your feet together. Take hands behind and just softly windshield side to side. This should feel very welcome in the body. Good. Moving right along, we're going to go into straight legs. I'm going to go sideways. Move the block here. Coming into Janu Shavasana. So we opened the side leg. Now we're going to make sure we access hamstrings. So I'm coming here to the edge of my mat. I'm going to bend this knee in, foot to the inner thigh. Good. Again, strap is useful. We're just accessing leg muscles slightly different way. Good. Take Few moments here with the breath. Good, and then when you're ready, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Keep the back flat as long as you can, and release. So this should be a slightly different sensation than the straddle full prostrate we just did. So feel hamstring activation here. Good. As you slowly come out, the counter pose feels so good here, coming to a pose called Wild Thing. You're gonna roll over your knees. So take your hand behind you, other arm up and open. Good. Stretching, feel the space in the front body stretch. Good. I'm going to take this a wee bit bigger by circling the arm. Good. Other way. Getting some more shoulder activation. Good. Now take a moment, look at my alignment. My arm is under my shoulder. My knee is under my hip. This is going to help me go into a balance pose. Breathe. Good. Abdominal engagement. Bring your foot back. Come to Hero's Pose. Hero's Pose are hips to heels. You can, of course, sit on a blanket, pillow, towel. It's a bit of compression in the knees. We won't be here too long. Just want to work with the ankles again here. I really appreciate the space we can create in the front of the ankles by, again, let me show you block option. Holding the block to lift your knees up, stretching the front of the foot. Good, good. That's all we'll do there. We'll go into Janu Shavasana, second side. This leg is bent, this leg is straight. On here. Seated position, picture close. Good. Take a moment, feel the breath. Good, inhale, lift. Exhale, release forward. Remember, these poses are 3 breaths. Slowly, taking little baby steps up my leg, over the knee, and behind, lift it up. And again, you can take this simply as a rise or a big opener, whatever feels most yummy in your body, and we'll circle the arm. Both ways. And settling into the balance. Breathe. Once again, back to Hero's Pose, but I'm going to go sideways for you. I'm going to lift to high hero and take a back bend. Coming into Camel Pose, I'm going to curl my toes under. Take a moment, find stability, find breath. When you're ready, inhale, chest lifts, open the heart. Slowly reach back, perhaps to an ankle or not. Arm can lift or not. Another option, support the low back and just lift. Another option, block between the feet, brings the floor a little closer. Good. Hold the belly as you lift up. And we'll take this right into cat cows. Nice work. Tucking around. Droop and lift. So undulation in the spine. Find some organic movement here. Dropping my hips to the side. Taking some circle swivels. Good. And finally, a well-earned rest. Come into child's pose. Open your knees, feet together, hips sink back. I like forehead to a block. Make your way out. Getting into the meat and potatoes, set up your first plank pose. So you can lead your knees down as you reach starfish fingers forward, and then legs extend, or as I said, knees down. Pick your poison and hold the pose, but not the breath. Notice my feet are hip width distance apart and hands under shoulders. Gazing at my thumbs, keeping my neck neutral. And eventually pushing up and back, downward dog. Pedal your feet, bend your knees. I like to lift one foot so that I can press the other heel back even more. And walking forward into a deep forward fold. Micro bend your knees. Allow the upper body to be heavy. Inhale to a halfway lift. Pull your clothes down. Flat back. Lengthen the spine, head forward, seat back. Hold the belly, hold the back, lift up, engaging the core into Tadasana. Take a moment here and just hold still. Nice, standing, okay. Take a moment to get your water. Time for a little break. And we'll get into some more of the power poses. You know I mean business, taking the jacket off. Something that's really fun about doing that. Okay, so I'm a little more forward actually. Let's take a moment to dissect our Tadasana pose. So when we're in Tadasana, mountain pose, it's actually the foundation for all of our standing postures. So Pretty important that we get this one right. First thing is our foot grip, Pada Bandha. So rocking back and forth. And then foot placement is important. Feet are under the hips, bone hips. And I point that out only because, as you can see, when I bring my feet together, I'm actually bow-legged, right? I have an arch. So opening to that space, it may not look perfectly straight, but you'll feel it as you're under skeletal alignment. Good. Belly engaged, shoulders are soft. Ascension, always think being rising up to the ceiling. And I have my hands loose, floppy, palms forward, a bit more neutrality in the shoulders. Good. Close your eyes. The idea in Tadasana, which means mountain pose, is you're strong, stable, still, all of those visuals. Good. Let's take arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, big reach. And when you're ready, Crescent Pose, open side body. Love, love, love that space we create in the intercostals, which is the fascia between the riblets. Back to center, breathe up and over, second side. So I'm taking, just a little hack here, I'm taking my lower hand and pulling gently my upper hand, taking me a bit deeper. And back. Now it's time for chair pose. Katasana, big breath in. Exhale the arms down and in front of you, sitting in your imaginary chair, engaging the quads. And all my students know the most important part of this pose is this. A lot of times we see this. I would rather you be here. Think of the zigzag. Breathe. Let's add on. Stay in your chair. Lots of strength here. Hand to hip. Open side body. This takes a little balance, a little focus. Keep sinking into your chair. Second side. Should be burning about now, right? Good. Lift it up. Add a back bend. Hands to heart center. And once again, Tadasana. Good. Feeling a little warmed up, yeah? Let's take it to our mats now, water break, and we'll go into nice warrior one. So, warrior one, Virabhadrasana one is a square hip, not an open hip, square hip. So again, showing you the side view, I'm going to take my front foot to the upper middle part of the mat, take my back foot to the edge of the mat, just so happens to be the width of the blanket here, and my toe is pointed on the diagonal, not straight out, diagonal. This is my flight attendant. Anyway, hips come forward. And then as you take your lunge, allow the knee to stop directly over the ankle, not further. Right here for stability, stacking joints. Hips come forward, arms reach up. Tadasana. So Tadasana foundation for warrior one as you reach up. Good. Take your hands to your hips. We're going to change warrior one to high lunge. So the difference here is the heel lifts up, hips still face forward, a bit more of a balance pose. Good, adding on still, lower, hands down to the mat, allow your leg to extend. Now we're in low lunge. Again, knee over ankle, lock, super helpful right here. I'm going to take it even deeper today. I'm going to rest my wrist, forearm on the knee, and reach this arm up. Coming out of this pose, I always like to take a straight leg fold. So hips slide back, head goes forward, leg is straight. Bit of a runner's lunge. Good, and from here, we'll go back to our plank pose. Doesn't have to be pretty, just make your way. Hands are coming under my shoulders, leg is coming out the back, other leg meets it. Downward facing dog, nice job. Remember, the downward dog is an inverted V-shaped full back body stretch. Where your heels are, doesn't matter. Are you feeling a stretch in your hamstrings and you're doing the pose correctly? Good. This time I'm going to walk backwards, forward fold. This is Uttanasana, restorative pose, because the hips are higher than the heart. Inhale, lift, halfway to flat back. Good, hand to the belly, hand to the low back, engage, lift up safely, and mountain pose. Good, shake it out. Seems like 20 minutes ago we did warrior one on the first side. We have to do it on the second side. And just for fun, I'm going to show you a different view. So, foot here, front middle, back foot on the diagonal, right? Hips square and upward salute. Good, now stay in this position, but I just want to demonstrate what this might look like from the forward view. See that there's space between my legs. Might look a little like this. And remember, we take this guy to high lunge by lifting the heel. Hands to the hips for stability, back heel lifts, and high lunge. Lots of breath. Eventually, lowering into low lunge. So again, alignment, knee, ankle, got my hands down. Take a few breaths here. And fold it forward. Once again, a well-earned child's pose. Coming back, hips to heels, forehead to block, resting posture. I'm going to add a little tricep stretch back of the arms by taking my hands to prayer behind my head. Really enjoying child's pose. So I'm going to stay here, thread the arm underneath, and rest on the shoulder. If you're feeling particularly twisty, you can even bring your hands to prayer, completely twisting side body. Or not, just options. Good, make your way out, second side. Very good, really enjoying the floor. Let's transition to Sphinx. Legs come out, hip bones where your knees were-ish. Extending your legs and your elbows are under shoulders. Another low back stretch, yeah. Good, as we completely lower down, just take a moment to take the load off the low back by lifting your feet. Good, and now we're going to go into a shoulder opener with a twist. Sounds like a dive. Okay, hand extends to the side like a T, other hand under shoulder. Lift the leg and roll over. And remember, when we come out of our twists, we do it super slow. So to make that more intense, should you need it, push the mat away as you roll over. Nice job. You're going to push yourself back to a deep yogi squat, garland pose, back of the mat. Open your feet, dip your seat, hands to the heart. Ish. So the deal with this guy is you want your heels down. So that might mean you stand up taller or go wider. Good, so now with stability in your Padabandha, your foot placement, slowly stand up. Make your way to Tadasana, Mountain Pose. Cool. Shake it off. Water break, and we'll do some balance poses. Please remember the value of props. So in here, I have this bookshelf here. You may have something similar at home in the back of the couch. You get the idea. Please feel free to use it, because once you feel stable, you can let go and test yourself, yeah? So let's go into our first balance pose, tree. Love tree pose. It's an open hip. Open the hip, like you're opening a door. Good. Ankle and heel connect to start it off. You're establishing your Padamana grip and then finding your focal point. Good. Stay here. Or holding on to the bookshelf. Or take it a little higher, foot to the inner thigh, inner calf, hands to the heart. Think strong, still, stable, focused, and maybe expanding it. Nice. Always shake it out. You want to kind of put a period on the end of that sentence, right? Start anew on the other side, which is going to feel different. Good. Take a moment, get into position. Got your shelf. Everyone take a moment right now, just as I did. Exhale. It constantly surprises me holding breath, even though I don't realize it. I had a lot more breath to release. So often release the breath. Think of it like a factory letting off steam. Give you some more stillness and gentleness to the body. And release. Good. Katasana, tree pose. Shake it out. Take some swings. In fact, let's do another external shoulder opener, showing you the side view. Inhale, shoulder shrug, clasping hands behind you, up the chest out, lift the arms, forward fold. Knees are bent. Engage the core to lift up, and let's go into Urdhva Hastasana. Okay, balance poses continue, this time square hip. So tree was open. Now we'll do warrior three, which is square. So hips are here. I'm going to start with my foot right out behind me. My front leg is bent. I'm actually going to hold the shelf to show you entry. So take a big breath in. Keep the hip level as you slowly come into that T shape. And if you're feeling it, let go. And release. Again, I'm demonstrating these postures. You don't have to hold them as long as I am or hold them longer. Your choice. Second side. Nice job. Good, good, good. Next pose we'll do is our also balance pose, also hips forward, but it adds a component of a bind. So a bind is basically a way to clasp hands or wrap feet or do something that's binding. Think of a snake coiling up. And when you release it, all of the blood flow, fluid, energy comes out to the extremities. So eagle, Katasana. Start, I'm going to go on the diagonal. Start with a bent knee. Good. Lift your foot and wrap it around. Remember, you can hold on here. Good. And if you're feeling it, do the same with the arm. Good. Take it out. Second side, diagonal, bend, lift, wrap. Figure out what you're trying to get. Out and shake it off. Nice work. So just looking at the time, I want to get us into pigeon pose. So go ahead and make your way back down to the mat. Doesn't have to be pretty, no fancy transition. But I do want us to find our pigeon pose with perfect alignment. So Simon says me here, coming into tabletop. You're going to take your knee to your wrist. Front foot, I'm wiggling in front of the other leg. Then take this leg out the back. So right here's where we're feeling it. If you need more sensation, you can move the front foot this way. But the idea is here, not getting your leg to the top. That's not the goal. The goal is the stretch and the extension and the work in outside hip. Big breath in. And forward fold. I'm going to add on here, just because I'd like to get a little quad stretch. So I'm coming up high on my block. I'm going to lift the back leg, reach back, and press towards the hip. Good. Coming out, I'm going to go to tabletop cat cow. Now you can see pigeon on the other leg, slightly different view. Once again, knee to the wrist, foot in front, leg out the back. I kind of wiggle my way into square hip. Big breath in, forward, fold. And again, expanding on this side as well, lifting up to the block, bending knee, reach and draw heel to hip for a quad stretch. Slowly release, drop your hip, putting your leg around to the front. Meet me in stat pose. Sesame Street letter L. You're gonna shake your legs, take a moment, reconnect with the breath, adjust your wardrobe. Coming into the cool down portion of the program. Micro bend your knees, inhale up, exhale down. Remember, you go where you can go. Lifting back up and slowly lowering down. Long body stretch. Good. Lengthen the spine, lengthen legs, point toes, fingers extend. Take a moment to appreciate the stretch here. Good, because now we're going to take it all in, knees tight to the chest. I'm going to lift my head even, tight ball tuck. From here, open the hips to happy baby. So happy baby is another one of those poses where you don't have to go to reach your toes. I actually get a deeper stretch when I lift my feet open and then take my hands under my knees. I go deeper rather than trying to reach my feet. Good, so when you come back, take your feet to the mat and we'll go into our inversion. So inversion is the hips above the heart. My favorite is supported bridge. You need the block for that. Press hips up, take the block under your low back. You see it? Sacrum right here. Settle in. Just take a moment to allow the low back to release. I'm covering my eyes as you see, practicing what's called pratyahara, withdrawing some senses so that the other senses may be heightened. It also eliminates distraction, takes me back to my practice. If it feels accessible, go ahead and lift your feet. Maybe even straighten feet. And if you don't have a block, you could be doing this on the back of the couch, chair, wall. Feel free to modify. There's no rules on modification. It's just what allows your body to get into position. Good, as I come out, same way I went in. Once again, tight ball tuck. I'm actually going to spin around for this last part. Good, a couple more poses. Final hip opener, feet together on the floor, knees open wide for Supta, Baddha, Konasana, hand to the heart, hand to the low belly. I'm going to do energy transference as I switch my hands, switch my feet to constructive rest. Good. And finally, any other postures you'd like to go into before Shavasana Relaxation. which I'm going to do by taking a big breath in and a big breath out. Start to bring motion back to the body, stretching long. And bringing your knees in as you roll to your side. I like to take this transition to complete my practice. Revisit how I'm feeling. Slowly lift up back to seated, where we began. Taking a few more moments in seated meditation to appreciate the breath. Good, we'll close out together, arms outstretched. Inhale up. Exhale down to the heart. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning in virtual land and honoring the light and teacher in each one of us. Namaste.